Hi guys, it's Jacob from DonkTCG and today I have a deck profile for you. Now, before the new set Forbidden Light was released, I did actually play a Buzzwole deck. Now, I didn't play it with Lycanroc or Lucario, I actually played it with Zoroark. And I did quite well with it. The only sort of decks that really sort of countered me were things like potentially Glaceon GX because it shuts off my abilities and I do rely on them, and also Baby Ninetales and potentially Hoopa. I didn't actually come across Hoopa, but it's essentially the same thing. It stops any GX or EX Pokemon hitting it, so it was really the only decks in particular that were giving me any big issues without even starting the game, if you like. Now, I do have a couple of additions from the new set, which is, for one, is Baby Buzzwole. So, I'll do a quick set list for you. Now, by no means is this the most amazing set list ever. I don't claim it is the best, but I play with it, I like it, I think it works for me, so I thought I would share it with you and see what you think. So to start off with, my newest addition is the new Buzzwole from Forbidden Light. Now, we are focusing mainly on the first attack, which is Sledgehammer. Now, for 1 energy, it does 30 damage, but if your opponent has 4 prize cards remaining, it does 90 more damage. Now, at the moment, we do still have strong energy, so if you have 1 strong energy attached to this, it's doing 50 damage off the bat, plus a choice band gives you 80 damage, and if your opponent has 4, you're actually doing 170 damage for 1 energy. Now, if your energy wasn't a strong energy, it was a beast energy, for example, this would do 180 instead, because the beast energy does 30 more damage. So yeah, it's quite a heavy hitter for the fact that it is only a 1 prize Pokemon. Obviously, it does have the stipulation of your opponent needing 4 prize cards, but if you're, say, running late in the game and you're really struggling to set up, this is definitely a good one to have as a backup. Plus, it lets me also now hit Baby Ninetales because he's not a GX. So, I've had 2 of him, and I have 3 Buzzwole GX. Now again, my main hitter, or my most frequent hitter, is Jet Punch. We're doing 30 to the active and 32 somewhere on the bench. Now with strong energy, you're doing 50 to the active. With the choice band, you're doing 80 if it's a GX or EX. Beast energy, you're doing 60 or 90 respectively. The Absorption GX, you're wanting to hit off really quickly because it does 40 for each of your remaining. So obviously if you've only got 2 prize cards left, you're only doing 80 damage. So the quicker you get this off, the better. And then you've also got Knuckle Impact. Now you do have to be careful when you use Knuckle Impact because it does say this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. But obviously to get around that, you would Guzma, you could potentially Acerola, that sort of thing. You can get around it, but you just need to be very careful when you use this, because if your opponent can come straight back at you, if you can't answer that, then you can't attack. So yeah, it's good in a pinch, but you do have to be careful with it. We then of course have 3 Zorua and 3 Zoroarks. Now, self-explanatory, we've all seen it. It's in a load of decks. I use it mainly for the trade ability, so you discard a card from your hand and draw 2. But then if I do have to, I can use Riotous Beating, which does 20 for each of my Pokemon in play. So you're maxing out at 150. It's not great, but it can hit if you need it to. So we've got that, and then finally, for our Pokemon, I have 2 Tapu Lele. Now, I don't think I've seen a deck recently that doesn't play Tapu Lele, so pretty self-explanatory. Wonder Tag lets me search for a supporter, and obviously Energy Drive in an absolute pinch does 20 times the energy attached to both active Pokemon. I'm not really going to be hitting with Tapu Lele, but if I absolutely need to, obviously I do have it as an option. So that's all we've got for Pokemon. let me get these out the way and I will bring out the supporters. So, for the supporters, I have 4 Guzma. I originally only played 3, I did up it to 4, just because I was finding that I was coming across baby Ninetales quite a lot. So in that sort of deck I am wanting to switch them out as much as I can. It's obviously they have float stones, they have energy attached in order to retreat and stuff, but at least Guzma's giving me that option to bring out another Pokemon to hit it if I absolutely need to. So definitely one to have at least 3 of, potentially 4 if you have space. I then have 3 Sycamores. Now I am concentrating more on my trade ability. So these I don't tend to use as much, but they're great to have. So for example, Glaceon GX, it shuts off my abilities, I can't trade. So at least with Sycamore, I'm still getting to discard and draw up again. So it at least gives me that option so that when I can't trade or my abilities are shut off, I've at least got something. So we've got that. And then we play 2 Cynthia. Now, I used to play 3, but the reason I only have 2, and I'll show you these ones a bit quicker, is 2 Acerola. I used to play 3 Cynthia and 1 Acerola. The reason I switched out my third for a second Acerola was more because I was finding that because Buzzwole's a 1 energy attacker mostly, it's quite good to pick him up. So let him get damaged, let him take as much hits as he possibly can. When you think that there's a possibility that he might get knocked out, just Acerola, bring out another one, and obviously you've got your energy back as well. With Cynthia, again, I'm trading a lot. The Cynthia is only benefiting me when I'm not really getting the draw, but with the trade, I usually end up with the cards that I need anyway. In an absolute pinch, I do have other cards to bring Cynthia back if I absolutely need to. But with a bit more testing, maybe I'll change it back. Maybe I'll change another card for another Cynthia. Maybe I'll take a Sycamore out for a Cynthia or something else. But that's why I only play 2. I then only play 1 copy of Bridgette, 1 copy of Mallow, and 1 copy of Lillie. Now my first turn, Tapu Lele, I'm always getting either of these, so either Bridgette or Lillie. I've never been in the position where both of these have been prized. Maybe this one has been or this one has been, but I've always had at least one or both as a choice. Now they both have their benefits obviously. First turn Lillie, you get to draw up to 8 cards in your hand, so if you can use as many as you possibly can. I've seen me use all my cards up and then draw 7, or even draw 8 if Lillie's your last card. Obviously Bridgette does get to fill your bench up, so for me this count works. With Mallow, I find that it's good to have, but I have always favoured other supporters in my turn. So say I want to use a Cynthia, or I want to use the Guzma or the Acerola. Your Mallow, if you use Mallow that turn and you Mallow for say you need the Guzma, okay fine, you're guaranteeing your Guzma pull with the trade, but you can't use it that turn. So I only play 1. I know a lot of decks maybe play 2 or 3, especially with Zoroark, because then you're guaranteeing the 2 draws, the 2 cards that you draw. But again, you are limiting yourself because you can only play 1 supporter per turn. So that's it for the supporters. Let me tidy this up and we'll bring out the items. So, no explanation needed. I have 4 Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards and search your deck for Pokemon. And it can be any Pokemon at all, it can be a basic, stage 1, stage 2, so an absolute must for any deck. We then have 4 Puzzles of Time. Now these are great because obviously I am discarding a lot to get the draws. I can take back, if I play 2 in one go, I can take back any 2 cards from my discard and put them into my hand. Unfortunately, these are being rotated, so it'll be sad to see them go. I know there's other cards that bring cards back, like Palpad and Lusamine, but those are specifically supporter cards. This you can bring back absolutely anything. You can bring back energy, you can bring back Pokemon, you can bring back supporters, items, you name it, you can bring it back. I hope either within the next set or the set after that there's something similar to Puzzle. Maybe they won't do an exact reprint, but something as close as would be nice in my eyes anyway, but we'll see what they do. Obviously with Palpad and stuff, it's a potential difference to VS Seeker. Obviously Palpad puts it into the deck, so it's not as good. Lucamine can get 2 supporters or any combination of supporters in stadiums, but it's 2 hand, but it is a supporter, so if you do take 2 supporters you can't use them that turn. So these, at least if you play 2 and you take a supporter back, you can at least play that supporter if you haven't done already. I play 3 choice bands. I feel like these are great to have. They're great to be able to attach it and do that extra 30 damage. However, I do not rely on these. These are far too easy to get rid of. Everybody runs at least 1 field blower. So yeah, I don't heavily play around having the choice band. It's great to have it. I'll love it when I see it, and I'll attach it if I can, but I never get too attached to these. I'll get 2 field blower and 2 enhanced hammer. I've got 2 enhanced hammer just because I find that a lot of decks do play DCEs. We will be seeing a lot of beast energy potentially, so these will obviously help a lot. Field blower, obviously self-explanatory, to get rid of stadiums, any choice bands or float stones that are on Pokemon that you want to get rid of. Another one to consider is Lysander Labs. It does make all tool cards ineffective. It makes it ineffective for both you and your opponent, which is slightly bad if you like. But if you're, say for example, there wasn't any choice bands in this deck, I'd probably use Lysander's Labs. Just to put them in an awkward position that if they don't have the field blower, they can't get rid of the stadium, and even if they've got choice band or metal frying pan or anything like that attached, it has no effect at all. I then play 2 Evo Soda. Now this is actually a relatively new addition to the deck. This is like playing 5 Zoroark GXs, because if I can't draw into the Zoroark and I can draw into this, then I'm essentially guaranteeing the Zoroark GX. It's the only stage 1 that I have in the deck. So yeah, so it's definitely a great card to have, and it's an item, so I'm not limiting myself to my supporters. I have 1 Palpad, as mentioned, just to give me that other option, especially considering I only run the 2 Cynthia. It just lets me put them back into my deck just so that they're there in a pinch if I need them. I have 1 Energy Retrieval, just in case. Again, I do have obviously Energy Drive, which is a colourless attack, Riotous Beating, which is a colourless attack, and obviously both Pokemon as well use Fighting Energy. So just in case I need to, if one of my strong energy gets enhanced hammered, or I need to discard an energy for an Ultra Ball or for a trade, I've at least got this in a pinch to bring the energy back if I need to. New addition, again, from the new set, is Beast Ring. Now, with this one, I can only play it if my opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, but what I can do then is search my deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to one of my Ultra Beasts. Now, both the Buzzwoles are Ultra Beasts, so it would just depend on which one I want to attach it to. Now, with it being an item card, I can essentially, if I want to, play 4 in one turn. Obviously, if I have 4 in my hand or 4 in the deck. But if you think about it, I can potentially Acerola. So say for argument's sake, right? Let's think this one through. So opponent's taking 2 prizes. I have a very damaged Buzzwole active and a brand new Buzzwole on the bench. I can Acerola the damaged Buzzwole. I can bring the new one forward. I can play 2 of these in one turn, obviously if I have them, and attach 2 basic energies from my deck to one of my Ultra Beasts. So I can go from having 0 energy on the new Buzzwole to having 4. I can then use its second attack, which was the one I said you have to be careful, which is the Knuckle Impact for 160. Okay, it's not necessarily great, but it is doing a lot of damage. And remember, if I've just Acerola and this is brand new, it has no damage on it. Or I can use Absorption GX if I haven't taken any prize cards. So it's definitely going to be a great addition to the deck. I only have one at the moment, which is why there's only one in the deck, but I will be looking to put extra in. I just don't know what I'm going to take out. I may potentially take out the choice bands. I'll just need to test it and see. I've only had a couple of games so far, and so far I haven't lost a game with it, but it could be sheer dumb luck. And last but not least, I do have a special charge. Mainly because I do run DC and strong energy, so they are special energy, sorry. This lets me shuffle them back into my deck if I need them. So again, not an absolute essential card, but very, very nice to have. Just so that if I get enhanced hammered or my energy ends up in the discard pile, I've at least got yet another way to bring it back and potentially get it back into play. So last but not least, we have 5 basic fighting energy, we have 4 strong energy, and 3 DCE. Now, the DCEs are only in for my Tapu Lele and for my Zoroark GX, just so that I've got them there available in a pinch. None of my Buzzwoles have any colourless attacks, except for Baby Buzz. He does have 1 colourless in his swing around, but I'm not really going to be attaching a DCE to him. These are in just so that I can use them. Obviously my strong energy I've got in for the extra damage. It does add 20 damage to your fighting Pokemon's attacks, and they do stack. So if, for example, I have 2 attached to Buzzwole GX, I'm actually doing 70 damage to the active, because it would be 30 base plus 20 plus 20, so 30, 50, 70. And with a choice band, that takes it up to 100 for just the 1 energy cost. Well, yes, okay, fine, there's 2 energies attached to it, but the attack only needs the 1. With Knuckle Impact, for example, if I had 3 of these attached, it would be 160, 180, 200, 220, and 250 if you shove a choice band on. So that is one hitting pretty much, well, it is one hitting everything. Obviously then I can't attack, but I do have Guzma. I can retreat, obviously with the energy being on that Buzzwole, I can use the energy to then retreat. But for me, this list works. Okay, like I said at the beginning, I know there are better ones. I know that our amazing Pokemon players have got better lists and they've done a lot better with theirs. But I'll admit, I do enjoy playing what I've got, and I thought I would share it with you. If you want to try it, like I said, I'll put the full list in the description for you, so that if you want to try it in real life or if you want to try it online, you at least can see the cards that I use. If you do try it though, please let me know how you got on. Let me know if there's anything you would particularly change. If you think that, oh, you would maybe increase this or decrease this, then let me know. We can obviously try your way, see how it works. With the new set, once it's fully released and I do actually have more cards, I will be looking at the set list again, and I will be adding in extra cards. Once I've tested it, once I'm a little more happy with it, I will bring the set back again just to show you. And what I might do then is, if I can, is actually have a couple of live games, just so that you can see it as well. Because obviously it's all well sitting listening to me saying, oh, it does this and it does that, but I think for me personally, when I see it do something in particular, it then makes me quite excited about that card, and it makes me think, okay, how can we make it better? How can we make it work with something else? How can we do it so that it's different to everybody else's? But yeah, I truly hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you've learned maybe a little something. I don't know. If there's anything I can do better, please let me know. I always love to hear from you, so please comment down below if you enjoyed what you see. Please hit that thumbs up and also subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Bye!